Hey, what's up guys? My name is Bradley Goss and welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, this channel is where I provide tips and tricks on filmmaking and photography to help take your creative work to that next level. If that's something you're into, please consider subscribing. Now today I've got another cinematography video for you, specifically lighting patterns that you're gonna need as a filmmaker. 5 great lighting patterns that you need to be aware of, and they're all going to be about where you're placing your key light. Now you can use more than one light in all of these setups, but I'm only going to show you where to place the key light because all the other lights, again, they were covered in the last video. Your set lights, your fill lights, and your backlights. This video concerns the key light because the key light is really what makes a lighting pattern a lighting pattern. All right, so let's go ahead and roll that intro and we can get started. Alright guys, so the first lighting setup is called flat lighting, and basically this eliminates all the shadows on your talent's face. So in terms of cinematic qualities, it's not going to look that great. This is often used in beauty photography or broadcast TV. But yeah, it's not a very attractive light, but as a filmmaker, you have complete creative control. So if you want to go with flat lighting, that can totally be a stylistic choice. Now there's some ways to alter this to fit your specific needs, but basically you would put your key light just at about the same level as your camera, right behind it. So it does tend to get in the way sometimes if you are shooting on set. But yeah, it's gonna go right behind the camera, but be careful if you go too low. If you wanna make your talent look like a bad guy, light them from directly in front of the camera, but low. Get those shadows going up on their face. And if you go a little bit higher, you start to move into the second lighting pattern, which is known as the butterfly lighting pattern. And it's known that because of the shape it makes directly under the talent's nose. So again, like flat lighting, it's really going to exaggerate facial features. So if you want to exaggerate your character's facial features for whatever reason, go ahead and use butterfly lighting to kind of get a more cinematic quality as opposed to flat lighting. All right, so moving on to lighting pattern number 3. Loop lighting, and this is called loop lighting because of the shadow it makes under the talent's nose. This is done by placing the key light 45 degrees off camera and raising it just a little bit above your actor's head. So with more shadows on the face, it's going to give a more emotional effect to your viewer. So now we're getting into kind of the more cinematic, more dynamic lighting patterns. Again, starting with loop. Going on to number 4, Rembrandt lighting. And this is my personal favorite. It's actually what I'm using now with a 3-point set. But basically this is loop lighting with, it's moved a little bit past 45 degrees. So it actually, the shadow on your nose connects all the way with the shadows on the dark side of the face, so you get kind of a triangle of light on the cheekbone. But like I said, it's basically the same as loop lighting, just moved a couple degrees further away from the camera, probably around 55 to 60 degrees. Obviously the bigger the bigger the degree, is that the right way to say it? Bigger the more extreme the angle, the more dynamic and cinematic the shot. So that takes me into the 5th and most dramatic dynamic lighting pattern possible, and it's called split lighting. And that is created when you put the key light 90 degrees from camera. So you have your camera, your talent, and then the light is directly to the right or left, lighting only one side of their face, letting the other fall into complete shadow. A lot of filmmakers use this to communicate zones of high tension in their film because, again, we're only seeing one side of the face, and the more intense the shadows, the more intense tension. There we go. The more intense the tension of the scene. So keep that in mind if you are shooting a scene with a lot of conflict. You're not going to use flat lighting in that situation, obviously. So the more extreme the scene, the more dynamic your lighting pattern. So one more thing I just briefly want to mention is you do not need a light kit to do this. I know I've been talking about my key light. My last video was also about these LED panels that have recently become my favorite, but you don't need them because on a lot of sets you can do the same thing with natural light. Like going back to split lighting, just put your talent sitting next to a big window letting natural light in. If you want to get that Rembrandt pattern, just rotate them a little bit. Like, you can use your environment around you to create these lighting patterns. And if you're making films on a low budget, obviously you might not be able to afford these big fancy light kits. So always use your environment, be aware of what's around you. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. That is all I have for you today. Something really quick. I just wanted to put something out there because I haven't put anything on YouTube in 3 weeks. Oh gosh, I hope it hasn't been that long. Honestly, it might have even been a month by now. But I got some free time. Classes have been canceled for the next week or so, and I just have a lot of time on my hands. So I'm going to be locked up in my bedroom studio making videos for you guys, hopefully contributing some value to you as you continue your creative careers. But anyways, thanks again for watching, and I hope you have a great day, evening, morning, whatever it may be for you. Anyways, find your reason to smile and stay inspired. See ya. All right, on to loop lighting pattern. Things filmmaking and photography that take your creative process. What? Hit record. I swear if I didn't start recording. All right, we're good. Moving on to lighting pattern